I am excited to introduce Michelle Parayil, the Conversation Design Manager at Haptic. Today, Michelle will be sharing her insights on leading design teams in the age of AI. She'll provide valuable tips and techniques for integrating AI into the design and creating delightful user experiences. So, let's welcome Michelle Parayil on the stage.
Hi everyone, welcome and thank you for joining the session on leading a design team in the age of AI. My name is Michelle Parayil and I'm a conversation design manager at GeoHaptic. We'll begin with the agenda for the session. We'll start off with a minute on the introduction and the reason for the session. We'll then move on to addressing misconceptions that most design teams would have about generative AI. We'll then talk about ushering in AI tools and how you can strategically implement them in your design team. We'll then finally address the challenges in the future of this technology. So, here's the question of the hour. Do you think AI will take over what you do? And what part of your job do you think that will automate? I'd love to hear your comments, so please leave them in the comment box below and we'll address them and take a look at them throughout the session. So, the very first common misconception that we deal with is AI will replace design jobs entirely. Good news is, this is not true. AI is great at taking in instructions that are very specific and completing tasks. It's the same for any LLM that's available on the market today, like ChatGPT, or any AI specific tool that you see that claims to do some part of design. You still need a designer to take care of all of the peripherals, the thinking, the ideation, bringing the designs together, prototyping, and so on. So AI will not replace your design job entirely. It may take care of a few critical parts. The next common misconception is AI is the death of creativity. Well, unless your AI is magically able to create ideas of its own without any prompting, there is no well, unless your AI tool is magically capable of generating designs on its own without any type of prompting, it's not the end of creativity. A good prompt or a good amount of prompt engineering can lead to a creative output that actually gives you some results. The good news is that AI tools are there to augment and be supporters to human ideas. The better your prompt, the better your result. The more creative your prompt, the better the outcome of whatever you're prompting about. The mid-journey results and all of these prompts that the results that we see on social media are good enough proof of this. The last misconception that I'll be handling today is AI will homogenize designs. This is a layered question because it brings in the thought about what has been used to train the particular model that you're talking about. If all of the results are targeted toward a popular style of art, then we're very likely to see similar art being returned when a person asks about a particular query. But if we make sure that the right ethics and practices are followed, and that your LLM or whichever generative AI tool is you're using is targeted toward a particular use case, there's a very low chance that this will happen. I hope that at least addresses some of the initial concerns. Let's move on to how you can implement AI once these questions are addressed. It's a very simple 5 step process that's rooted in extreme practicality. I will be taking you over an example from my conversation design team as I explain this. Please keep in mind that I'm mostly going to be talking about ChatGPT, the LLM, while giving you examples throughout. Depending on the design tool that's useful for you, you may want to adjust this and tweak the process a little bit, but the fundamental bones of the process remain the same. So the first step here is to list down your design process. This is critical to understand at which points in your design process you want to bring in some type of generative AI or some type of tool that will let you take care of some things in a quick and easy fashion. We started off by writing down the steps to creating an FAQ bot. FAQ bots are considered to be some of the simplest tools out there, or some of the simplest products in the conversational AI market. But not surprisingly, they're not. They require a high level of nuanced thinking because you not only dump the questions in the bot, you also think about the structure, the journey behind it, how a customer will reach out and discover a particular question and answer, what happens when they don't find the right answer. There's all of this nuanced thinking, and that ended up with us having a long back end process, but that not being reflected in the ultimate outcome or the timeline that was given to the customer. So the goal here was to reduce the time taken when it came to designing FAQ bots. So what we did was simply list out all of the subtasks here, find out whether ChatGPT could help, see if it was a narrow enough task, see if the time taken was very high, see if it was extremely effort intensive, and then move on from there. This helped us to very clearly understand and find opportunities for automation, which is the next step. The questions that you can ask here are threefold. Number one, is this task critical, rule based, and automatable? Is it a low creativity, high effort, time consuming task? And is the result of this change drastic and easily measurable? If the task is critical, rule based, and automatable, you will be able to see it in the patterns that are followed while completing the task. Is it the same repeating task over and over again? If yes, that's automatable. If it's a low creativity, high effort task, you probably have designers complaining about it all of the time, and it ends up taking up a large chunk of your day. Is the result of the change drastic and easily measurable? Well, if you take up a task, and I'll give you an example of ours, which was something like creating prompts for campaigns, which was an easily forgettable part of our project workflow. We found that not many designers were dedicating time for it, but it led to a high change in the amount of traffic driven to the bot. Since most designers were busy creating the structure of the bot themselves, they usually forgot or chose to ignore this part of the bot building activity. So that means that you need to pick the right problem and tool. With so many and a wide variety of generative AI tools available, it can be difficult to pick the right problem target in the first place. Should you go for a tool that creates images? Should you try to fix your copywriting problem? Should you try to do something that generates test ideas for you? It all depends on the biggest time consuming problem that you face today in your design process. I've created a quick list here of different problems that you can try and tackle as part of your design team. A couple of resources here that may help you out. Number one is the OpenAI example page, which contains a bunch of different APIs and applications that you can explore. Another good website to explore is the AI Tools website that has a large laundry list of different tools that are available in the market today to explore, with a lot of details about each tool, the pros and cons, and more. Finally, once you've decided the problem to solve, you know which tool you want to explore with that uses AI, go ahead and incorporate this into your current workflow. I highly encourage you to check whether an existing tool has a plugin for the particular tool that you want. See if there are different ways of prompt engineering in a smart way for this particular choice of tool. And I'll just have share a quick word about prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is not randomly throwing sentences at your LLM or ChatGPT to share a final outcome. Prompt engineering is the activity where you take in a particular prompt, play around with the different parameters like the tone you specify or the examples that you give. Do you give examples at all? This is, by the way, called zero shot prompting if you don't give any examples at all. Play around with different parameters like your wording, placement, character count that you specify. Make sure that you test each parameter and check the accuracy of each result against what you actually are ideally expecting. That's prompt engineering, and it's almost similar to what a programmer does in their day-to-day in their day-to-day work. So create a measurable playbook for each of these tools, for each of the prompts that you're using. See what kind of results you get. And only then, once you know which kind of prompt works for a particular type of task, go ahead and roll that out to the rest of the team. We know that this is a time consuming task, but that's actually the challenge behind generative AI today. It's iterative, and that's also the fun part. It's not one size fits all. It takes a few tries to find it out for your specific need and use case, and it's only begun. Many of the tools out there in the advice columns that you'll find are often repetitive and not so helpful because it depends on each type of use case and experiment that you're trying. I hope that you found this rough framework helpful for you, and I hope that you will give AI tools a chance. And if you are interested in learning a little bit more about the resources that are available out there, there's a wonderful course by deeplearning.ai that I highly recommend. So, thank you. Keep asking me questions and take care. Bye.